Hello. Knowing electronics is a lot like owning a pickup truck. Suddenly you find yourself somebody's best friend. So yeah, I have a friend who had a SKYJACK scissors lift, and it wouldn't move. It would go up and down very slowly, and the motors would turn on, but it just wouldn't move. And so this is what the joystick control looks like. Yeah, you can buy these modules just for about $100 or so, but the whole box was pretty crapped out, and you know, hey, I told him just buy a new one. So anyways, I would have shown you the lift, but that's gone. Probably won't see it for a year till it breaks or something. It's out on job sites. But let's see. See, I can just start the thing here that turns off. Now this is a PWM control, and as you move this thing, the PWM should change, and it doesn't. From my understanding of how this thing works is that when it's high up here, it's the slowest speed, and so there's this ramp function. And if you look down here, this little, doesn't show very well, but a little pot here says ramp, so you can adjust the ramp. Now this is a little unique in this control, and I guess they made it to be simple, is you have 3 wires. One's power, one's PWM, and the other's ground. And what they do is they switch the power. And so because they switch the power, the electronics is never on all the time, and so when you turn it on, it just goes into this ramp function. And so there's this pot up here, and evidently there's something wrong with this. And you know, initially this is the main transistor here that drives the solenoid. This is the 5-volt regulator. There's a couple diodes here on the output, and a resistor that limits the current. So let me pause this and get some more stuff up. So continuing on with what this looks like electronically, this main transistor is this one. It's a PNP, and there's a little diode protecting the 24 volts coming in from reverse voltage. There's about 1.3 volts that I see across this one it's on, which I haven't looked it up, but it tells me that's probably a Darlington. And so the collector goes through this diode, so there's no voltage kickback that can damage the transistor. This diode is a snubbing diode, and there's a resistor here to limit the current. And you know, schematically it looks like this. So initially, you know, I got this thing and I put just a meter on, there's 3 pins here, powered it up and looked at the voltage, and I could tell when I did the joystick it immediately went high. It never varied at all. And so, hey, probably this is shorted. So I, you know, kicked the there's a really thick insulation covering this whole board, and you know, I checked the transistor, it wasn't shorted. Voltages look normal. You know, I traced out the rest of it. Well, I thought, like, maybe the microprocessor is bad or something. And so here's the 5-volt regulator, and I checked the pins on that, and it's over here. 24 volts feeds on this side, 5 volts out that side. So if you have a little probe, you can test it. But yeah, something was wrong. Now I should say that as you can buy this module for you know, like $100, you know, it's easy to just replace that. This is a commercial company that uses this. A lot of places like Ford, if you bring equipment in, they put it in quarantine till their safety people can go over it. Now this one was really beat up, and up in front here, that's supposed to be an emergency stop, and that was broken off. Kind of a strange thing. Where is it? This is the emergency stop switch. So anyways, if somehow the switch breaks and this falls off like it did from the mounting, it's closed, normally closed. So yeah, offers no protection, and if this fell off, no one would even know that the emergency stop doesn't work. But you know, as I took this thing apart, I noticed that the push button here, this is on a little lever, so you have to push this in order to make the thing operate. You know, it's a safety thing. And I opened this thing up, and this side just fell off, and I thought, whoa, bad wires. That's the problem. No, I looked inside, and some yahoo found out the switch was bad, so they just taped these things together. So anytime someone, you know, hit this with your elbow or something like that, the lift would move, go up and down. You know, it's a really safety item. You know, and if OSHA came in, you know, the fine would be a lot more than what this whole little box cost. Now this box, I found it online, and you know, the delivery was in about 7 days, and it was only $378. You know, so I figured, hey, you guys, just order this, put it in, it'll make it work. And so I was lucky enough to get the other box before they dumped it in the garbage, so I could do this video. But yeah, I find that astounding. That's something I would do. You know, this kind of stuff is okay if you have one of these at home and for personal use or something like that. But you just can't, you know, defeat you know, any kind of safety device when you're out in the workplace. So I usually just standard micro switches. These are easily replaced, and there's 3 micro switches here. You know, one for up, the other one for down, and the other one's for neutral. So in neutral, it turns the power off to this board. So let's get into testing. So this little connector here, you know, it's standardized. It's just a plug-in that you can, you know, it's easy replacement, 4 screws, and snap this together and it'll work. But if you want to test it, you know, here's the colors white, blue. So this is the enable switch. So when you do an ohm meter across these, it'll tell you when that button is pressed. And now you have your left-right switch. The green-white is the common. And then there's left up here, right down there. So you can, you know, move the switches to see if those are okay. If you look at the switch, there'll be 2 contacts here which are in a D fitting. The hole, instead of round, will be a D shape. And that's how you can orient what things are. So this is the ground, this is the PWM coming out here, this is the plus 24. And let's see what this is. Anyways, these 3 micro switches are common on the bottom, and you can just put an ohm meter across those, and this is the down, up, and the neutral switch. So you can make those tests. Now notice there's only 2 contacts on each micro switch. In the schematic, it shows that there's, you know, 2 poles to each switch, and so that's a little different from what this is. I noticed that in the box, instead of having the double contacts, they just went with little steering diodes. This diode's like this. I use a 10A10, which is a 10 amp 1000 volts. and they use these all over the place. Just follow the arrows and you can see what it is. This is the left right down here, and then there's this the one that we really concerned about was the proportional solenoid. If that's open, it just releases all the pressure from the pumps, so you get very slow movement. But now these schematics and the service manuals are available online, and like the one I used was an SJ4626, and pages 57 through 65 are the interesting ones, which have these, you know, just print them out. And let's see what else. But if your internal, you know, this right here is the remote box. If you come with, if it has double switches and it goes to singles, you have to do this conversion, 2 diodes, and it'll go up to the speed switch up there. But they provide all these schematics because I guess it's a safety issue, and if they didn't provide them, it would be a liability issue for them. But it's really nice to be able to get them. But when you have one of these that doesn't work, in the front where the steering is, underneath one of the arms is like 3 micro switches. Make sure those are free running. You know, spray a little WD-40 on them. You know, they could get gummed up. Some of these have battery doors that if the battery door is open, the thing won't move. And the same thing with the control box on the other side. Control box has all this circuitry in it, all these diodes and stuff. You remove one bolt, you can lift it up, and you can get at everything. It's hinged, very nice to work on. But yeah, most problems will be with this control box. Like I say, it's cheap. It's probably your easiest fix, and good luck working on yours. Thanks for watching.